What's going on, everybody? And welcome back to another day, another episode of the Daily Grind. I'm your host, 30NSG, and on today's show, we got lots of small little stories. Lots of stuff got submitted into the thing, but the three main topics we're going to talk about today is the player count collapse, the roadmap about Dune Awakening, players decide making its life goal to get MMO's useless melee combat fixed. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about Marathon art theft debacle has been resolved to my satisfaction, according to the artist that Bungie stole from. We're also going to talk and discuss about Warner Brothers Discovery gets mostly cash offer from Netflix, sources say. There's not really much of an article there, but I just want to kind of talk about, is it good that Netflix is in the running for this? Should it go to Skydance Media or I forget the other one. I think it was Paramount. They're all trying to bid for Warner Brothers. We'll have a discussion who you think is the best fit for WB going forward. And then we have other smaller stories as well. If you guys like what we do here, we do this Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning till noon Eastern. We just cover a few stories, read them for the first time on chat, or on stream, I should say, with chat. And then I give you my thoughts and opinions, and then we get your thoughts and opinions, and we get you through a couple of hours. If you like it, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. We also have other ways you can help us out by just hitting that like button. Like I said, you can go down to the merch store, or you can listen to the music that we've created. You can go to Spotify, Pandora, iHeart. You can download it. You can stream it. You can do whatever you want with it. But there's a lot of different ways to support the channel. I appreciate it very much. What's going on, chat? I think we have a lot of stuff working today. Good morning, Paul Turn. Good morning, Travis, Jason. Let me see who else is here. Eclipse. Vision, what's going on? Nate, good morning. Dolphin, glad you could make it. Good morning. Kylo, good morning. Roic, good morning. Big Mo, what's going on? Who else is here? Sarge, good morning. And who else? Who else? Ashraf, what's going on? Good morning. Jesse Mack, good morning. You know, I saw Travis say something. I gave him a compliment in chat. Take a screenshot. That's the best thing that Travis, I think, has said ever in our channel about talking about Marvel Cosmic Invasion, right? Nate's saying that it was really short, you know, and we said it would take longer solo. Obviously, Jason beat it much faster. But games like this are literally just for fun. Like a side scroller beat 'em up, old school. It's more about the nostalgia of the game, like that type of game. This is why I mean, growing up in the arcade, growing up with Double Dragon, Streets of Rage, and so many others on the actual, across the board. Putting quarters in those arcades when you're at the bowling alley or the skating ring or wherever else you were. You would just play these games, and that's the nostalgia. That's why I like Turtles that came out and they did it. I like the G.I. Joe one. I like the Mighty Morphin Power Ranger one. There's a Toxic Invasion one coming out. There's a He-Man one coming out. And obviously we have the Marvel one, right? Cosmic Invasion. They're all just good nostalgia. They're just fun. This is not about how many things can you level up, how many skill trees could you go up, open world games, live service stuff. It's play it, beat it, put it down. When you have some time, you put it back, you go back to it and do it again. That's what these games are. There's nothing more than that. There's no like hidden thing. Are they going to, if it's successful, then they make another version or they put DLC in like they did the other one. So I really like these games. I have a whole collection of them now. And I like it. All right, let me see what you guys are saying in chat. Let's see. I'm trying to see it. What's going on, Ron? Good morning. Ron says, Mind's Eye beat 'em up. Sign me up. Actually, that actually might be better. That might be better, Ron, if they made a game. Nate says bowling alleys is where I was. I can't wait to be for He-Man. Yeah, He-Man looks good too. There was a screenshot a couple of months ago that we saw. Oh, The Simpsons. Someone actually said there was actually a conversation, Roic. I don't know if you played Fortnite. I don't know if you played Fortnite when The Simpsons were in it. That got me back into Fortnite. My son and I were playing a lot it was a good time, the map and stuff like that. People are really sad that the Simpsons left Fortnite, and they're asking for, you know, is in some way, shape, or form, can we have the Simpsons back in Fortnite for that map? And then one of the things I saw on Twitter, people were saying, hey, can we get like what they're doing right now in Fortnite with Squid Games and The Walking Dead and Turtles? They want the Simpsons to have their own little island, and then someone create the Simpsons game that we used to play in the arcade. That would be cool. That'd be cool. What's going on, Water Bear? Warbear says, also, Cosmic Invasion made me want to go back and play the new Streets of Rage 4. We talked about that months ago, right? I was like, I didn't even know that came out. That looked pretty interesting as well. But they told me games needs 8,000 battle passes to be good, 30. That's right. You need battle passes. You need $40 microtransactions. You need a bunch of stuff in there, Travis. Altern says, Halo beat 'em up when? That'd be cool. That'd be cool. You could take a lot of games and make them into I would almost take a Destiny, right? I would almost take a Destiny beat 'em up, where you're just a 3-player co-op, where you could be a Warlock, Hunter, and Titan, and you go beat them up across side-scroller. That's where the money's at. That's where the money's at. Kyle says, I went to GameStop on Black Friday and saw a guy with Mind's Eye in his hands. I convinced him not to buy it. You're doing God's work, Kylo. You're doing God's work. Yeah, good job. Okay, that's the charity work. Some people give to food banks and stuff like that. Kylo's going to GameStop, talking people out of buying shitty games. Good job. Yeah, good stuff. Nate says, I have Streets of Rage 4 on PlayStation 5. Robert Jones says Streets of Rage 4 was pretty good. I still say Streets of Rage 4 is the best beat 'em up. Really? The best? They don't have it for Xbox, do they? It's only on PlayStation and PC? Kyle says it was $10. I told him, even if I gave him me money to play that, I wouldn't. He put it right back on the shelf. It's only $10 right now? That's crazy. That's crazy. Michael and Little Beastie says, 30, I recently found your channel as a mother of 25-year-old and created a channel together as we started playing games together. Gaming is bringing us together even before we're so distant. Awesome. That's awesome to hear. I love playing video games, man. The one of the main reasons I got into gaming is because of my father, which is really weird because my father doesn't play video games now. Never touches video games. Reasons being his hands and stuff. What he used to do for work, he destroyed his hands and he can't feel. He's got no feelings in his fingers and stuff like that, so he doesn't play video games. But he got me into video games by playing the Atari 2600 all the way back in 1980, 81. I was 3 years old, and we played the bowling game. And no matter where I go or in my head right now, just saying the bowling game for the Atari 2600, I hear the and that's it, right? And I absolutely fell in love with that. From bowling, I went from the tennis game. We used to play the tennis game. We went to Breakout, to Maze Craze, to Keystone Capers, and it just kept going. So my love for video games is because of my father, who doesn't play video games now. My parents used to play Mario Kart with me, the original Mario Kart when it came out. Absolutely love it. And I'm glad, even though people say that video games are bad, and I love that I have something in common with my son, playing Minecraft, playing Fortnite, playing Helldivers, playing whatever. It's this little bond moment that we have, and little moments of capture that you can play a game together, if it's for 10 minutes or if it's for 10 hours. You know, I love it. 15-year-old, got it. Hey, if he's 25, you're still playing. I hopefully I'm playing with my son when he's older. Aaron says, hey, should I buy Silent Hill 4 The Room on PlayStation 2? I can't answer that question. I'm not a big Silent Hill fan. It's just not my type of game. But there's plenty of people in this channel that love Silent Hill games. They can tell you much better if it's worth it. I'm assuming it will be worth it. Iron says, or Travis says, 30 Witcher beat 'em up, but make it be all different schools, not just draw. I'll be honest with you. When we were playing Cosmic Invasion the other day, you give me a Transformers game like you mentioned, right? Transformers game. You give me take any 80s show like He-Man, like G.I. Joe, which they have, and I'm ready. I'm good for it, right? Mighty Morphin Power Rangers is actually, it's okay, but still good. We're gonna talk about Halo, or not Halo, Destiny for a second, right? Because Stealth posted some pictures, right? Stealth posted some pictures inside of our Discord. Let me bring these up. I want to show you. I want to show you these. You can call in airstrikes now in Destiny. Let me get, where is it? Well, let me see if chat's working on screen today. It is, but it's a little weird. I gotta fix that. I don't know why it's doing that. I don't like that at all. I gotta figure. It's working today, but it's not working. You know what I mean? I gotta fix that. I don't like the way that looks. All right. Let me see. He posted this picture. Can you guys see this? Let me see. Okay, so it starts open with New Hope, basically. It's chasing the ship. Okay. Then he has this little movie here where basically it's the entrance of Darth Vader coming in. Right? And they're all fighting Darth Vader, basically. Okay. Then we have, I don't know why it stopped there. Then we have the trash compactor. Then we have Han Solo. Right? And then you have Boba Fett. Now, here's my question to you guys. I posted this in Discord, and I said, so I have a question. If everyone's upset with AI slop, just taking things and copying things that are already made, what's the difference if actual people, okay, just copy things that already exist? Right? Now, I understand that humans made this and made it where it's inspired by Star Wars. And you know where I stand, right? I said Star Wars coming to Destiny when it came in last year, when they first did the first Star Wars thing. I was like, I'm not a big fan of this, because in my eyes, 10 years ago, Destiny was, I mean, hindsight's 2020, right? When it first came out, people looked at this and were like, oh my God, this is really cool. This could have been the Star Wars of this generation, right? So kids that were 10 years old, 12 years old, 15 years old, started playing Destiny, and Destiny could have been the next Star Wars, right? Like right now, we could have a Destiny show, a Destiny movie, and it could have been the Star Wars of this generation. But instead, what we have is Destiny has lost its way, like many other franchises and brands, and now Destiny has to be inspired by Star Wars, which is basically the kiss of death. Not because Star Wars is in a bad space, but if you can't stand on your own 2 feet and get people to come back and play your game, and you're throwing a Hail Mary because you're like, oh, you know what? People like Star Wars. When you're bringing a sci-fi fantasy thing into your sci-fi fantasy game, you've lost it. You've lost it, in my opinion. Okay? Now, I get it. Nostalgia, just like I like the beat-em-ups and stuff like that, reminds me of being a kid. I know people look at Destiny and go, oh, man, I love Star Wars. Right? And it's different for me to see Star Wars in Fortnite and see Destiny be inspired by Star Wars and put Star Wars stuff inside of Destiny. Right? It makes no sense whatsoever. Right? But that's just me. Right? When you lose your structure of what your game is, and you have to start looking outside of your sci-fi world that you're making and to bring in other sci-fi things into your game. Different about being inspired or just blatantly just taking from these movies that we loved, right? And I don't get it. You know what I mean? El Dente says, I feel like Arc Raiders is more Star Wars inspired than Destiny DLC is. I see what you're saying. I've even made the comment when we looked through the binoculars in Arc Raiders. I was like, dude, that's straight out of Star Wars. Okay. But at least I'm not wearing a stormtrooper outfit and trying to get people to come back into my thing. It's different. Like, for instance, if a fan-made person wants to do like Helldivers and make, the clone troopers or whatever, that's a fan doing it, right? If they want to put a war bond in there that's inspired, which they already look like they're inspired by Star Wars and whatnot, cool. But when you're taking Destiny, a game that's been out for 10 years, and about 9 years they put the first Star Wars thing in, or was it at 10 years they put Star Wars in? To me, they're just grasping. They're just grasping to try to pull themselves out of this problem that they have. But Dog says they just show that they have no original ideas. And that, again, is my question in the beginning. If people are worried about AI just taking stuff that's already out there, right? Yet people that can make anything they want, and yet they're just making stuff that's already out there. Is AI that bad? I don't know. Argus says, but they also already had multiple different trooper outfits, Darth Vader, General Grievous, and Kylo Ren outfits already, among many emotes, ships, ghosts, and sparrows. Oh, I know, Argus. And that's when I said when they first brought it in, I said they've lost it. And since that moment, the game has gone down more and more and more since the first time they put Star Wars in. Let's see. Waterbear says people used to like Star Wars, and people used to like Destiny, and now we can't stand either. I don't want to say we can't stand it. I'm still a Star Wars fan. If Star Wars comes on the television set or Clone Wars or something, I'm still going to watch it. The new Star Wars stuff, not so much, right? I can't stand the new stuff because the new stuff is just stealing from the old stuff. Like, they can't. Did you guys see this other thing? Let me see this Star Wars thing. Hold on. Let's look at this. Let me see if I can find this since we're going down the rabbit hole here. Okay. This is 1 week ago. 1 week ago. This is a fight sequence. A fight sequence that someone stole from a fan film in an actual Star Wars project. Okay?
For the last couple of days, and I thought I'd give you my 2 cents. The lowdown is this. There's a filmmaker, a stunt coordinator by the name of Lorenz Hideyoshi, and in 2019, he produced his own Star Wars fan film titled Dark Jedi, which I have to admit is very impressive. It's sleek, it's dynamic, it's got incredible choreography and stunt work, and a very fun lightsaber fight. So what's the issue? Well, 2 years on from Star Wars Visions Volume 2, Lorenz, the creator of the fan film, noticed that one of the shorts in the second volume of Visions resembled his fan film a bit too closely, and he—
Too closely? It was a 1-to-1 shot of his fight scene.
He's making the accusation that 88—
Check this out. Okay?
Pictures, the Indian studio from Mumbai, blatantly stole his action design for the shorts The Bandits of Golak, often praised as one of the best of Star Wars Vision Season 2. This is the volume where studios from all over the world were hired by Lucasfilm to make their own Star Wars shorts, and that season had representation from Spain, Ireland, Chile, the United Kingdom with Aardman, South Korea.
Now, it's different to be inspired by something, and it's different to steal something straight up and then pass it off as your own because you have a moment where Star Wars is like, hey, we're going to give you an opportunity to make this short for us, and yet they stole it from a fan film.
France, South Africa, and India.
Now, Sweat Dog, come on. Right? Bloody hell, her accent makes you want to go into a coma. I mean, People might say that about my voice as well. So.
Yeah, and it's this animation studio, like I said, that's being accused of plagiarism. In an Instagram post where he shows the comparisons between his fan film and Star Wars Visions, Lorenz added this: I mean, they already had a different weapon set up, but still managed to brute force push my choreography onto their action. Didn't even change the camera angles. Why, Disney? Is it because we made a non-profit tribute fan film of one of your IPs, and now you just feel justified in stealing?
Unfortunately, I don't think she's AI. Unfortunately, I don't think she's AI.
From this pool of creative output. And then he suggests maybe either A, pay your
it might
animators
be.
more, or B, hire an action designer. And let's be real here, side by side, the similarities, the exact movements, are undeniable. And there is a big difference between an homage, or being inspired by someone, or crediting them, and a ripoff. And Lorenz says, Disney didn't even...
But look, they have a double saber in the show. You only have one saber.
Even reach out to him. No credit was given, no payment, nothing settled in private. He found out by watching Disney Plus. Now, to be fair, I don't know if Lucasfilm was aware of this. It might have been the doing of the animation studio, 88 Pictures.
Here's the thing, though. This happens all the time on YouTube. All the time. See, the difference is, like, right now we're watching this video, and now I'll put her link in the description down below in our description because we watched her video on the show, right? It's going to be really fucking weird, okay, if someone takes something, puts it on their channel, if it's YouTube or if it's a movie, and because they found something so small, they're like, well, no one's going to have seen this. It's only been seen 480 times. And they're like, oh, I'm just going to take it because no one's going to notice. If this was 1986 and someone made a fan film and it was on Betamax and someone in a VCR, like in a Blockbuster video got a beta, two things don't exist because beta and Blockbuster didn't exist, but in a video shop, they got the tape and they're like, oh my God, this is really cool. And they took that and made it 1-for-1 shot in real life. Like, oh, it was inspired by this, right? No one would know because they'll be like, wait a minute, I think I saw this one time, okay? But we're not in those times. We're in 2025 where the internet knows everything. This person put their video on YouTube back in 2019, and then a artist took that 1-to-1 shot, put it in their thing because they had the opportunity from Star Wars, from Disney to make a short for them. And they robbed somebody else, right? Like, what are we talking about?
And for all of these years, it just went under the radar. Maybe part of their research when they made the Bandits of Golak was to research other fan films. And I guess this is the scummiest bit. It's the fact they're profiting off the work of a fan.
Yeah.
Someone who's going to get no credit and no pay for this. And I get it.
It makes you wonder how many other things have they taken from somebody that we don't know about yet.
Legally speaking, fan films are derivative. Lucasfilm...
Because here's the real scary part, right? They could have taken that exact thing, taken that whole scene off YouTube, put it into a program, watch it over, take their animation, just lay it over it, and that's what they did. They just changed the animations over, like what it looks like, over the actual choreography. That's it.
The right to Star Wars and lightsaber effects and all of that kind of stuff. But I guess what saddens me the most is that Star Wars Visions is supposed to celebrate creative originality, especially when you're talking about some of these international studios, being platformed in a huge way in the framework of the Star Wars universe and having your work being put in front of the eyes of millions of fans. Season 2 was supposed to let artists from all around the world interpret Star Wars in their own way.
No, they made money and they're like, let's do it real fast. Oh, I know. I'll steal someone else's work.
It encouraged new styles, new voices, new ideas, fresh worlds, and new characters that we'd never seen before. And it was supposed to be liberating. It was supposed to be artistic, different, and not bound by pre-existing lore. But at the core of it was artistry. So if it's true that a studio copies from a fan film and uses their choreography, their entire action design, then it contradicts the anthology's core mission. And it kind
Yeah, we worked so hard. We did all the choreograph ourselves. It was just a good time with all the people that we had.
Bro, you literally took it 1-to-1.
of casts a really dark shadow over something that was
And then someone will justify it. They'll be like, well, it's just a small bit. It was just a small bit.
supposed to be very innocent. The optics of it certainly look bad.
Instead of calling the guy up that did the choreography and said, hey, who was your choreographer? And they're like, oh, is this? Hey, can you consult for us? Can you come up with a thing like you did there? And the guy's like, sure. Now, see, if you hired the choreographer that made the actual fan film and he wanted to do exactly what he did in the other one, cool. You gave the guy who came up with it credit and money to give you inspiration to do the thing that you wanted to do in your show. But no, they didn't do any of that.
We've had cases like this in the past, especially with Star Wars comics, cases of fan art being stolen, and so to have this in addition to all of that, on-screen content, that's a very bad look. And I feel really bad for Lorenz, a passionate, hard-working creator, trying to work his way up, created a fan film he loved 6 years ago, and an animation studio supposedly comes along and steals it, makes all the money.
Mo says, why you sound like Ernie from Sesame Street?
And the artist, the original artist, gets no credit. It's super disappointing. I suppose in a way it hurts the credibility of Visions. Now, while I've seen others comment on this and talk about it on social media, we do have something of an update. Lucasfilm and Disney have been approached. They haven't yet responded, but Polygon.com do say that they have asked for a statement. I'd be surprised if they say anything public, but I do hope the original creator does get some credit, is given some kind of compensation, or maybe they take the episode down, and they don't work with 88 Pictures ever again. I've seen some people say not every shot of this is exact, it could be a case of inspiration, but the problem is some frames are literally one for one. The way the Sith, or the Dark Jedi, whatever they're supposed to be, falls to the ground, rolls over, jumps up in the air, some of those moments are exact. They're the same. From my perspective, the camera angles being the same, I think it's way more than inspiration. So let's take a look at how some fans responded. Many have urged the creator to take some kind of legal action, and this person says, the IP may not be yours, but the choreography and the cinematography is still your original work, and they've blatantly stolen it shot for shot, swing.
They didn't even change the camera angle. They didn't change the camera angle, the action of the camera, nothing. They kept it the exact same.
For swing. And this is where it's going to be very tough for him. And there have been some very notorious cases in the last few years of fan creators trying to navigate the legality.
All right. We're going to stop that there. Let me grab her stuff for her channel, and I'll put it down below. You guys want to go check out the channel? I know Sweat Dog wants it. He's asking. He's like, hey, can you send me that? Because it's static. Star Wars Meg. There you go. Got 148,000. 148,000. So there you go. Let me see if I can find another one that just shows the video. Is this the whole thing? Let's see. Do they just show the actual video? I just want to see the actual thing. Okay, so this is the actual post. Okay, so let's watch the actual thing. Right, here we go. Like, bro. No, I don't want to watch it on... You bastard. Right? I don't want to watch it on Instagram. I was watching it there. Anyway. Well, there you go. Right? A 1-to-1 robbery. So let's go back to Destiny. Now, obviously, Destiny or Bungie or Sony approached Lucasfilm and approached Kathleen Kennedy or whatever and said, hey, we would like to work with you guys and inspire Destiny, a big franchise that's great for sci-fi, and bring Star Wars into this. Now, obviously, they're inspired by it. Directly from the company, they're inspired by it. And I have no problem with this. The problem I have with Bungie and Destiny doing this is that Destiny didn't need Star Wars. They didn't need it. They could have just done their own thing. They could have been inspired by it, like when you go to a planet and go, oh, this reminds me of Tatooine. But it's not a one-to-one of Tatooine. It's not what... You don't need Star Wars and Destiny. This is exactly why they completely, like, jumped the shark. You know what I mean? But that's just my opinion, right? That's just my opinion. It's just weird. It's just weird why they did what they did. Argus says, I'm having fun with the Star Wars Destiny season so far. There's also been good sentiment of so far from the community. I had the obligation to play it since I had bought the whole years. It's not about you having fun, Argus. That has nothing to do with it, right? My problem is not people having fun with Destiny. My problem is that Destiny had to go the Star Wars route because Destiny is in trouble. That's my problem, right? My problem is that Destiny didn't need Star Wars. First of all, Star Wars is like a hooker now. Just anybody that wants to work with Star Wars, they're like, yeah, you want to use Star Wars in your thing? Oh, well, let's do this, let's do that. They're whoring it out and diminishing the brand of Star Wars in person. Personally, right? I think they're just whoring it out, which hurts the brand. Okay. And then second of all, Destiny is watering down their brand because they're using another person's brand inside their game, where you have the lore that you wanted to do with the game, but now the lore inside the game is infused with Star Wars inspired stuff. So now it's just weird. It's just weird. Disney is so bad. Jesse Max says Disney is so bad doing the geography. Besides Nick Jarrell doing it, PT versus Disney's or choreography. It's night and day. Yeah. I like Star Wars more than Destiny, which is probably why I like the collab. And yes, Destiny should be good enough to not need to touch Star Wars. I agree on that. That's my whole thing, Argus. I love Destiny. I have 2,000 hours combined with Destiny 1 and Destiny 2. That's probably the top 3 games I've ever played. That, right? Minecraft's probably number 1, right? It doesn't keep track of hours, but Minecraft's probably 1. I would assume Destiny's up there as 1, 2, or 3. Okay, maybe World of Warcraft is up there higher because I played it for 5 years or whatever, right? Like, it's in the top 3 games I've ever played most of. Destiny didn't need Star Wars. Didn't need it. Now, would I like to see Star Wars in Helldivers? Sure, but not officially, right? If it's a mod that I can download to make it to fantasize about the Clone Wars and Helldivers, cool. But taking it and going on to a major brand, and again, I think they will do it because there is like a Death Star thing happening in Helldivers, okay? Again, it's inspired, not a one-to-one type of thing, right? But that's doing Starship Troopers, they're doing Halo, they're doing a bunch of stuff. That's not what that brand's known for. The brand's not known for their own sci-fi thing. Their thing is Helldivers is Starship Troopers, is this other thing. And they made it a fun game that you can do it. Destiny was on its own. It didn't do Star Wars for the entire time it was out there until the last year and a half. That's because they're desperate. They're desperate to try to get people to come back and play their game. And they're like, oh, well, Star Wars is a thing. We should do that. Argus says, I'll be honest, Destiny did their own non-Star Wars season, this DLC. It probably would have finally died. I think you haven't seen it yet. I think Destiny is dead. It's just that Star Wars makes it look like it's not because people are coming back for the Star Wars and not Destiny itself. But Dog says, nice to see people having fun in gaming. Seems hard to find of late. Yeah, I'm okay with people having fun. I don't care. Again, you can go play with shit, throw it up in the air and have fun with it. That's not what I'm saying. I think the company is, just bankrupt. Originally bankrupt. They don't know what to do. And they're throwing a Hail Mary with Star Wars to save their game when all they had to do was make a better game. Imagine that. Instead of making a better game, They decided to make a better game with someone else's brand inside their game. Crazy. Well, that's the problem. Destiny did need it, 30. Destiny is so weak now, it needs to stay relevant. But they're just keeping the corpse alive. Right? Everyone will tell you, look at the numbers. Oh, it's so successful. Yeah, it was successful until it wasn't. And it's not successful anymore because they lost the originality. They lost what Destiny was. That's true. Destiny itself is dead. They wanted Star Wars part of things. Correct. To keep the corpse alive. To pretend that it's not dead. Right? They're hurting. Right now, Bungie and Sony are freaking out. They spent $3.6 billion on that company, right? They brought them in for live service stuff. Concord failed. Okay, those are people that work with Bungie. Made a separate game. That one failed. They're working on Marathon. They got caught in a art theft, which we'll talk about in a second. Okay, and they're just hemorrhaging stuff. They're working on a codename game called Gummy Bears, right? They're working on Destiny 3 now. They're working on Marathon. They're doing this to Destiny, right? They're hurting. They're hurting. All right, let me see what else you guys are saying here. The sad part is players have so many ideas that could be revelated into the game, and there's also so much feedback. They would just rather not put it in work or do things a way different than they are in their way. Because if they listen to the fans, they want to make a live service game that they want to make, but again, they don't want fans telling them how to do it. But yet they're going to just get Star Wars to bring the fans in because they've lost their goal. They don't know what they're doing. They're out in the middle of the sea and they're like, "Oh, what's going to bring back Destiny? What about if we did Star Wars? Oh, good save. You see what it did? You see what Star Wars did for Fortnite, right? Right? Like, what are we talking about? You don't need to make Destiny into Star Wars. You could have made Destiny the next Star Wars. I love Destiny. I hate Bungie. Okay? I love Destiny. I hate Bungie. Therefore, I can't support Destiny because I hate Bungie. Bungie is not the one-all, be-all of companies. They are a terrible company. They do not know how to manage money. And here we are. Here we are. Dolphin says 30. Also, the sponsors for Destiny are not allowed to say lightsaber. They have to say Praxic Blade. Amazing. Mr. G says Bungie's best live service is only good until it's not. Gamers have learned to move on. Live service is not what made the experience everyone is chasing. Exactly. I love how I watched the video recently, Z, talking about how Destiny, people don't play Destiny because of the story. They play it just because it's fun. And I'm like, if that was true, then people wouldn't keep coming back and getting the expansions and want to know what's happening with the story. Right? The story might not be the thing that keeps people there, but it's the thing that keeps people coming back. Okay? And people are like, "Oh, the story doesn't mean anything." They just skip past it. And I'm like, that is so false. Right? The reason people played Destiny and came back to Destiny and bought the expansions of Destiny wasn't so they could just shoot things over and over and do the exact same thing over and over. It was the story and shooting things over and over and over again. Sweat Dog says, I really liked the original Destiny, but felt like Destiny 2 fell off the cliff. Felt so different and not for me. That's right, because they did change it. They changed it fundamentally from what it was to a microtransaction hell. Remember, though, that was Activision's fault. That was Activision's fault, not Bungie's fault. Super Dave says the force is weak with this one. What's going on? What's going on, Super Dave? Travis says, 30. If they wanted to make us excited about Star Wars, they could also done news on the bloody KOTOR remake. And I'm not willing to give up hope. It'll probably come out, but, guess what? Disney owns Bungie now for doing Star Wars. Marcus says, I don't like the devs at Bungie at all. Are they overwhelmingly soy, leftist, liberal, progressive, filled company? I mean, the leftist views. And I see people like that in real life enemies. Mine's not about that. Mine's not about that, Argus. Obviously, that's your view of it. That's not why I don't like Bungie. I don't like Bungie because of the people that I interacted with at Bungie, regardless of their political views, were just not good people. We're just not good people. And if that's because of what you're saying or just because whatever. And then the company itself just doesn't know how to manage money. They weren't there. They weren't there for the game. Mo says, and the lie detector determined that it was a lie. Bungie beyond that bullshit. Super Dave says, I lost a love for Bungie years ago. Then they killed Halo for Destiny. Yeah. I stopped playing Destiny because I didn't have the time, and DLC kept evaporating. I stopped playing. I lost interest in 20. I saw the thing in 2016, but I stopped playing in like 2018, 2019 is when I really stopped. Really, when the Osiris came out and Warmind came out, I was like, I don't know about this. That's when I started losing hope. They got greedy and couldn't manage the money. Bad combination. Yeah. When you have someone that doesn't know how to spend the money and they're making a shit ton of money, that's terrible connection. All right. Speaking of that, let's go to the first story, which is Marathon. Okay. Marathon is the Marathon art theft debacle has been resolved to my satisfaction, according to the artist Bungie stole from. Okay. Now, obviously, the person that they stole from, they settled probably out of court or whatever. But the fact of the matter is, here we just talked about a story about someone stealing from a choreographer and a fan film. Okay, a blatant steal, and now Marathon blatantly stole from an artist. Right? It makes you wonder. I'm sure this just only happens one or two times, and we just happen to hear about it. No, this happens all the time. All the time. It happens daily on YouTube. People take other people's content and turn it into their own and pretend it's theirs. All the time. Okay? So if you guys like what I do here, we do this Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning till noon Eastern. We just have conversations. I read this news story for the first time on stream. I give you my thoughts and opinions. If you like it, I get your thoughts and opinions afterwards. Please hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button if you'd like to go above and beyond that. Become a member as little as $5. Okay? So Marathon art theft debacle has been resolved to my satisfaction, according to the artist Bungie stole from. This article comes from PC Gamer. Bungie has apparently done right by the artist it stole from to develop Marathon look. Okay, well, that's amazing. They've done right. Only because they got caught. Remember that, chat. They only did right because they got caught. I would have waited. Let me tell you something. If I was the artist, I said this when it happened, I would have stayed dead quiet. I would have let Marathon come out because Marathon was supposed to be out by now. If the artist didn't speak up and let Marathon come out, holy Christ, do you understand the backlash that would have happened? This artist did them a favor by speaking up early, because if Marathon came out with the assets and everything that they had, this game would have been dead on arrival. Because it would have came out, people would have hyped it up, this person would have came out and said, they stole from me, and then oxygen sucked out of the room. Then you would have the community on a completely different atmosphere, because let's say the game came out and it was fantastic, and then they found out that they stole something from an artist. The community, because they're having fun with the game, and because of all the other stuff, they would have turned on the artist and said, oh, just get over it. It's not that much. They didn't take it from you, right? They would have 100% would have went with Bungie because they're having fun. But because they came out early, okay, everyone's like, oh, you shouldn't have done that. Shame on you, Bungie. Shame on you. Okay. If I was the artist, I would have stayed quiet. I would have let the money just pile in and say, oh my God, they had 10 million people play it day one. It's one of the best selling games of Bungie's ever created. I would have went, that's my work. They didn't pay me. Okay. And then Sony would have went, holy shit, what did we do? Who didn't check? Who didn't dot the I's and cross the T's? Who didn't check that we had artwork that was not from us? Who hired this person? But now it's a completely different story, right? So the artist who also work was stolen developed the look of Marathon. Bungie's upcoming extraction shooter says it all. Water under the bridge, right? Marathon's art issue was resolved with Bungie and Sony Interactive Entertainment. My satisfaction, wrote the artist. Now, they don't have to share what money they made. But let me tell you, money makes things go away, doesn't it? I'm sure they gave him a gift card and a raid jacket from Bungie, right? No, I'm sure they settled out of court. They gave him something and said, hey, what would you have charged for this? Right? Man, I would have waited until it got sold. Okay, the Marathon art issue has been resolved with Bungie and Sony Interactive Entertainment to my satisfaction, wrote the artist Anti-Real on X today. The update comes nearly 7 months after Anti-Real posted the X claiming that their work had been lifted and used as textures in Marathon playtests in May. Okay, Bungie, of course, is not obligated to hire me when making a game. It draws overwhelming from the same design language. It also have refined the last decade. Anti-Real said at the time, but clearly my work was good enough to pillage for ideas and plaster all over their game without pay or attribution. Okay. It says Bungie later confirmed that Anti-Real art had been taken without permission, laying the blame on former artists who also turned the texture sheet as ultimately used in-game. It says, quote, this issue is unknown by our existing art team, and we are still reviewing how the oversight occurred. I know. The person's job that was to check the people that were turning in work. How is this like a manager checks the work of other people, right? The teacher checks the work of the students. The parents check the work of their kids. Did you clean your room? How did I know he didn't clean his room? Who oversighted this? Why did we buy this for our kid if he didn't do what we asked? Who missed this? Let's blame other people. You are a manager of the art department. The art department says, hey, here's my worksheet that I'm turning in. They go, oh, it looks good. Without going and looking at where they get it from. Imagine if there was a box, a magical box. Let's call it a computer, okay? Let's call it a computer where you can type stuff in with your fingers. And you go, hey, imagine there was a program where you could take a picture and reverse it, where it could search this made-up thing called the internet that nobody knows yet, okay, and see if a picture was already used on some other person's thing. If there was only this magical box with this magical thing that could reverse a picture, imagine that. Whose fault is it? We're still looking into the matter. You're fucking morons, okay? The company said in May, we have reached out to Anti-Real to discuss the issue and comment to do right by the artist. Okay, fantastic. Okay, considering the brevity of the formal tone, Anti-Real's update on this matter is a fair guess is doing it right by the artist in case it involved boardrooms, lawyers, and fat paycheck. This is unfortunately a situation that Bungie had found itself in confounding regularly. Just last year, a piece of fan art somehow ended up in the official Destiny Nerf gun. How did that happen? I don't know. Someone just said, yeah, it looks good to me. Okay. 2023, and also had compensated the artist whose work was also mistakenly used in Destiny 2's cutscene. Mistakenly used, right? I love how they just end it there. Okay. The pass the buck thing has to stop. People need to take credibility. People need to be held to standards when you're hired for a job that this is your job. You don't get paid extra money to just wave it off and go, well, I'm a manager. Managing is a manager. If I'm an art department manager and 100 people underneath me, I'm just saying, you know, a number, 100 people turn in stuff to me. It's my job as the manager to make sure that they're not plagiarizing. It's my job to make sure they're not turning in someone else's work. It's my job to make sure, because the bigger picture is that the company that's giving me my salary is spending hundreds of millions of dollars to make a video game. And yet they just hand wave it. They're like, looking into the matter. What do they say? Where is it? Traction Shooter says it all under the bridge. Marathon, the update comes nearly 7 months after. Bungie, of course, is not obligated to hire Anti-role attribution. Okay. Bungie later confirmed anti-role has been taken out with permission, laying the blame on a former artist who turned in a texture sheet that ultimately used in game. The issue was unknown by our existing art team. Who was there when this person turned in the sheet? Not that hard. Really not that hard to figure out. This person turned in the sheet. They signed it off. Who signed off on it? This manager. Is that manager still here? Fired. Fired. We don't pay you money to make fuck-ups like this. We pay you money so we don't have fuck-ups like this. Hence why you're the manager. Hence why you're the lead of the art department. Like, how is this confusing, chat? How is this a thing where everyone just hand waves and says, we don't know who it is? Like, if someone I hired an artist. The artist fucks up my house of painting my house. Who's to blame? The guy that didn't work on the job or the guy that worked on the job? Like, hey, you fucked this up. No, not me. A bird came down and hit my paintbrush. It was the bird. The bird fucked it up. Do you know what I mean? I don't know who to blame. It's so stupid. So many things happen. Corporations love to get away with shit. They don't want to say anything because if they say anything, that means they're guilty of something. Now, they've admitted that they stole, which is fundamentally, and the only reason they admitted it is because they got caught. Remember, Bungie also got caught by stealing an entire story. And to stop that from being caught more, they had to scrub it like a murder scene where they were trying to take their fingerprints off of it, right? They stole the Red War story from a complete sci-fi, another person that stole stuff, okay? Another person wrote the story exactly at the Red War, and Bungie was like, "Oh no, we have to get rid of the Red War. It's over blowing up the game, and we can't put all the stuff in, so we have to take it away. The only way we can do it." So stupid. Right? And everybody loves, they're like, "Oh, I love it." Because when you're having fun, you don't give a shit. As a customer, you shouldn't give a shit. You shouldn't give a shit. Okay? Because you're just buying the product. But when the product is being manipulated and stolen from other people that are actually doing the work, and then they come out and go, "We don't know how it happened." They know exactly how it happened. They're scumbags. They're scumbags. Maybe not the whole company's scumbags, but the person in that position that knew it was happening is a scumbag. And they did it because they were getting paid. Right? And they try to slide it under and go, "Well, if I don't say anything, maybe nothing will happen." Well, then something happened. Then they got caught, and then here we are. Okay? Now, I'm glad the person that got stolen got paid. Now, we don't know what that money is. None of our business what they got paid. But man, what I've done differently. If I saw my stuff there, I would just stay quiet and wait for them to launch that game. Because remember, that game would have came out at the end of September 23rd, 21st. And boy, that game would be done by now. Imagine this story came out after the game launched. Holy Christ. Sony would be livid. They'd be like, "Holy shit, Concord was easy compared to this." But obviously we don't live in that time. And they came out before the game launched. So what they should really do is send them a thank you card. They should be like, "You know what? Here's extra money. Thanks for not screwing us over." Because we could have been completely done. But these are just my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comment section down below. Let me know in the live chat what you guys think about just companies in general, right? Taking responsibility for things when they fuck it up, right? They want responsibility when things are good, but nobody wants to take responsibility when things are bad. Okay, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Please make sure you share, like, subscribe, and if you like what I do here, we check out some of our other videos. Thanks for watching. What's going on, Roadkill? Just enough says, "Managers can't do our jobs, so they can't check our work." Maybe that's what it is. They're like, I don't know. Water Bear says, "We all know that management at Bungie is shit." So there's that. I just think it's funny. We don't know. We don't know. What is the word? What is the terminology they used? Hold on. The issue was unknown by our existing art team, and we're still reviewing how the oversight occurred. The oversight occurred because the guy we hired was incompetent. Or girl. Roadkill says, hit the like button. You gotta do what Roadkill says. Hit that like button. Helps us out here. Look into what? You fucking fire the guy whose job it was to check. End of story. Yeah. Yeah. I spilt a glass of milk on the ground. I didn't do it. I saw you do it. No, I didn't do it. The hand sanitizer I was doing this. It made my hand glossy, and the glass just slipped. It wasn't my fault. It was the hand sanitizer that was in my hand. So we have to sue the hand sanitizer company, because if it wasn't for the hand sanitizer company for making that brand of hand sanitizer, then I wouldn't have slipped out of my hand, and then the milk wouldn't be on the ground. Instead of going, oops, I broke and spilt the milk. Nope. They try to go around the whole block. This actually happened to me in real life. We actually live in a condo a decade ago, and the people above us had a washing machine, and the person broke the washing machine. Water spilt everywhere, went down the walls into our apartment complex, right? And then we weren't suing them, but we were like, hey, you have to pay for the damages that you did. And they went, not my fault. It was the company's fault. And we're like, okay. They're like, it was a faulty washing machine. Yeah, regardless, you deal with that. That's you versus them. Okay? We need you to pay for our damages because you live above us and you damaged our house. That should be plain and simple as is, right? Nope. They went around, must have worked for Bungie. They went around the world and said it wasn't their responsibility, and we didn't get any money from them, and we had to actually go after the washing machine company, which they also went after the washing machine company, right? And then we had to file this whole thing, and it took like 8 months to... It was a fucking mess. Besides the water coming down the walls, it was a mess. That's because people don't take credibility. They don't take responsibility, I should say. Imagine in the future, Ashraf says, imagine in the future if something similar happens, devs show up and say, we didn't steal, we used AI, and it blamed the AI for stealing. That's exactly what's going to happen. Exactly what's going to happen. It wasn't us. It wasn't us. It was the AI that we were using. Yeah. Exactly what's going to happen. Do you know why I write the songs that I make? Because I know I'm writing the songs. Now, the music that comes out, could the music be redone because there's loops and all music is done the same? Sure. But the music is original because I am writing the songs. So if someone goes, well, that sounds similar to this. Yeah, it sure does. But I'm writing the lyrics. And the lyrics are nothing else that's out there before. No one else is making a song about Battlefield, okay, or Call of Duty, or Always Online. They're not doing it. Right? No one's going to make a band make songs for that. What do you think about the development cost for Marathon up to now? Has to be more than Concord at this point, right? Yeah, I would think it's around 350 million at this point. And that's not including the lawsuits and everything else that's probably happened behind the scenes. Ray says, remember Adam said it was the woman that gifted him, that made him eat the fruit. He blamed both God and his wife. But the argument still would be, you have to review the work of AI. 100%. If you're right now in factories, there's a machine that just makes everything, whatever it is, if it's a phone, if it's candy, whatever it is, right? And at the end, there's a human, or halfway through, there's a human checking the work of the conveyor, of the machine. They're like, up, and they pull the stuff out, right? They could just let it go, right? And then that thing can get shipped, and then you open the box, and you're like, oh, there's defects here. That would look poorly on the business. But they have a human checking at the end to make sure that at the very end, it's not going out completely shit. Got to include the settlement. Yeah, I don't know what that is. Bungie's pissing money away. They always have. So it's just a Tuesday or a Wednesday. You know what I mean? It's so ridiculous. All right. Speaking of ridiculous, let's go to the next story, shall we? The next story is the player count collapse. Roadmap, buddy, we've got bigger problems. Dune Awakening players decides making his life goal to get the MMO's useless melee combat fixed. Okay. So it's been a wild journey. Actually, you know what? Before we even look at this, let's go to here. Now, I have over 100 hours inside Dune Awakening. Right? I enjoyed my time in Dune Awakening. But let's see where this is at. Let's see where this is at. Ooh. Boy, that does not look good. That does not look good, huh? But here's the good part, guys. Here's the good part. More than Concord. More than Concord. Okay. If you guys like what I do here, we do this Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning till noon Eastern. If you like it, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. If you'd like to go off above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. We do this a couple hours a day just to get you through. Okay. So Jason says Dead Awakening. Dead Awakening. It says it's been a wild journey for Dune Awakening. So far, between the player count dropping to promise a long-awaited feature like the base backup tool and various patches. But one specific issue has plagued the community now for a while. The melee combat. Okay. If you've been out of the loop or took the extended break from the game post-based demolition, like admittedly I did, melee has, fallen off a bit. For the lack of better words, put simply, Funcom seemingly attempted to address the issue with melee that saw a crippling striking dispenser blast a little overpowered, to say the least. The developers did so via a nerf, and quick look at some of the older Reddit threads shows they weren't loved by everyone. Okay, one player in particular has been documenting their journey of broken melee. However, the flagging just why the nerfs initiated intended to fix melee combat resulted in a form of close-range fighting. And many others, judging by the comments, deemed useless. Known online, Spice Rub, the latest of the frustrated fans videos, episode 14, in the clip, sees hand-in-hand Dune Awakening combat in action, and yeah, it's uneventful. Okay, let's see this. Melee useless in Dune, all places of episode 14. So let's see what he has to say here.
Fight.
Look at this amazing fight going on. Look at this amazing fight going on. Oh boy. That's bad, chat. That's bad. Okay, melee is useless in Dune. Of all places, reads Spice Rub, accompanying post. He says, we take the rubbish Funcom sends us and put it back under the roses. Or under their noses. We also add some facts of gameplay footage in it. He says, I'm using a level 6 character against a high-level character in endgame gear. I've got a tier 5 power pack, tier 5 shield, very little armor, and HP, consistent knee charges, and Snowblade would kill me. The thing is, delivering the kill shot appears to be impossible. That's the point of Spice Rub is making. Melee just doesn't work as it should. According to him, it includes a link to the handy YouTube video, which we saw here, okay? It says, remove the function of stacking stamina debuffs. As Spice Rub outlines, Strike cannot stack on itself, okay? This is what I love about numbers. This is why I love about nerds, okay? There's always going to be someone that plays your game or buys your product, reads your book, watches your YouTube video, okay? And they're going to know way more than you ever did about anything that you've ever thought you knew, because there's just people out there that love information. They're like, this doesn't seem like it's working correctly. So they go make a spreadsheet. And they're like, this doesn't stack, or this stacks, and this is broke, and this is, and they tell your game. Then they tell the information to the developers, and the developers like, no, we are not fixing it. It's not broke. It's not broke. until the percentage of people start to break the game, and then they're like, oh shit, it's broke. It's broke. Yeah, we should fix it. Okay. He says, simply remove the ability of suppressor blast and crippling to stack. You will have significantly solved the problem while retaining the minimum viability for melee. Funcom, according to the player, could do more as well. He says, quote, you can also even go a little bit further by removing the stamina debuff and suspensor blast inflicts. As it concludes, it sounds like it take it in, but it's a pretty simple solution. Although I'm sure more goes into thinking these things through over Funcom case-by-case bias. It's also ever known as fans, as at least, though, is the problem is that players, including Spice Rub, have flagged for attention. Funcom is hard to work patching up to the issues, including harder NPCs after the devs called undocumented changes to the behavior post 1.2.20.0, and more. The third chapter of Dune Awakening is underway as well. So here's hoping that things only improve. Okay. So again, I have a thing that I made a video on this channel. It's called When Constructive Criticism is Toxic, right? So basically, when people give feedback and they're being constructive, you're toxic, even though they're trying to help, because the people that have constructive criticism, no matter if it's this game or another game, we love the game. We love the game. We want the game to last. We want the game to succeed. But companies, because it doesn't matter what happens to Dune Awakening. Dune Awakening is the most successful game Funcom has ever made. Okay? It's sold the most copies ever for them, for any of their games. Okay? Like, they thought it was going to sell 3 million. It sold 7 or 8 million. It's a big success. So now they don't really have to fix anything, right? But as customers, not consumers, customers want things to be better. They're like, you know what? I gave you the money for the game. I really love this game. I really love to see more about this game. Okay? I loved Destiny, right? I started Generation X Gaming Podcast on Thursday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern. There's a plug. Okay? With Sarge, because we love Destiny. We love Destiny so much that we gave them feedback. We gave them constructive criticism of what they could do to change the game to make it better. Most of those things came to fruition years and years and years. But during the time when we were talking about stuff like that, people hated us because they're like, you don't know what you're talking about. You don't know what you're saying. Star Wars Outlaws. Okay? I liked Star Wars Outlaws, but Star Wars Outlaws was broke, buggy, and unfinished. So I gave feedback because I would like to see Star Wars Outlaws become better. 18 months later, voila, it became better, right? Not because I was toxic, because I gave feedback, because I put it out there, right? Maybe an email, maybe a video, maybe on their forums, right? You gave stuff back to them so they can fix the problem. A lot of these companies don't want to fix the problem because they don't think the problem exists. They think that you're one of nobody that doesn't know what they're talking about, even though all we do is play video games. We can tell if a game is good or bad by playing it and knowing that the structure of the game is good or bad. Okay? It's like when you're casting somebody in a movie, right? You can sit there and have 1,000 people audition. But when you come across the person, if it's the first person in the room or if it's the last person in the room, you can tell that they have it. You're like, this person's got something. They are good at what they do. They have something. I can tell. You can tell when an athlete has something. You can tell when an artist has something. You can tell because it's above and beyond what the other people have. You can tell. When you give it the smell test, okay, when you play a game, you're like, this is a good game. Like Arc Raiders is a good game. From the foundation, it's a good game. It's got its flaws, okay, like many other games, but the base of Arc Raiders is good. The base of Destiny 1 was good. The potential was there and blown. Marvel Avengers had a good base, but it was flawed because of the execution of it, okay? So, yeah, it's the it factor, Water, right? Like, you can tell when you play a game, you're like, this is a good game. Within seconds, you're like, this is a good game. Now, obviously, if it's a open world game, like an Ubisoft game or stuff like that, it takes a little bit to burn, but you could tell, you're like, actually, this is a better game than the last game they put out or whatever, okay? You could tell if it's a shittier game than the last game they put out, okay? So when these companies don't want to listen to you and they're like, no, there's no problem. This is not the major factor. Well, it is. It is. It's a major factor. This is a problem. Now, obviously, you can stay on course and be like, we have a vision. This is what we want to do, and refuse to listen to your player base. But when the player base says, this is a problem, if you don't fix this, we're going to go. Well, take a look at it. This is not just because there's other games out there. Okay. This is not because Battlefield 6 came out and Call of Duty came out and Arc Raiders came out. That's not what this is. This is people played the game, enjoyed the game, but then they didn't make the fixes that they wanted to make. And they're like, you know what? I'll come back later. And it looks like some of the player base came back here. Whatever happened here, I think this was the update that they came out with, the next story. Okay. And then everybody else was just like, that was it. Right. And in an online game, even though people they play solo, they want to be around people that are in the game as well. So it feels like it's alive. They feel like they see someone. This is what Fallout 76 does well. This is what No Man's Sky does well. They make you feel like the world is still lived in. People are still playing the game because there's less people on the servers, right? This is what Fortnite does well. They make you feel like you're good at Fortnite. They make you feel like you're good at Battle Royales because there's bots in there. This is what Battlefield 6 is doing. They put bots in there to make you feel like there's other people in there and you're competing against them, okay? Because we as creatures, as humans, we want other people to play the game. This is why Arc Raiders is doing well, because other people are playing the game. As soon as the people stop playing Arc Raiders or a mass market starts to leave Arc Raiders, other people will leave Arc Raiders and you'll start seeing a dip like this. Regardless how good the game is, okay? You'll see a dip because if there's problems in the game, which right now in Arc Raiders, there's a spawn problem, and they don't fix it, well, it's just going to get worse, right? So it's funny to me that a lot of these companies don't want to listen. They don't want to listen. They just think that they know and their customers don't know anything, even though their customers know a lot more than them, because we play so many different games and so many different things that we see things that happen and we're like, we don't want your game to do the exact same thing as this game. Please fix this. And they're like, no, we're not fixing that. Our combat is fine. Okay, let's go back to this, right? Let's go back to
delve into the issue of Melee.
Oop.
To delve into the issue of Melee. Funcom right now is under a lot of grace. PvP is at an all-time low, with most servers being either dead or inactive, so PvP, regardless of how bad they are, isn't felt by many, simply because there's no one around doing PvP.
Look, he's not even getting hit.
This will change in the
He's getting
future with
stabbed, but he's not
certain
losing
matches,
anything.
and it will always be a critical issue if Funcom plan on having people play their game. The good news is that the solution is rather simple. Melee is a complex system in Dune Awakening, but please don't try to overthink the problem. The fact that Suspensor Blast and Cripple Strike were nerfed in the same way together suggests that with this nerf, Funcom was targeting the broken method of using Cripple Strike together with Suspensor Blast to inflict a huge stamina debuff on a target, which was game-breakingly bad. Funcom was 100% in the right to try and solve this problem. However, by making both skills obsolete, it brought up from the deep a terrible realization that without at least one of these skills, Melee was unable to meet conditions in order to retain minimum viability. The problem was this combo creating a really bad unbalanced effect in Melee that needed not just to be nerfed, but literally disappear because of how bad it was. However, it did make for some...
Now, these are people that have made the game. They made these changes in their game and made it worse. Meaning, do they really know about their game?
some really interesting high-skill melee exchanges. The culprit in this problem is, however, Suspensor Blast. Cripple Strike is the only Swordmaster ability that allows melee to have a chance at meeting conditions for minimum viability. Suspensor Blast is a trooper ability that does everything Cripple Strike does, but better. Which is strange to say that ranged play has not only a far greater variety and effectiveness than melee does, but it also has a clone of the only ability that makes melee viable. Cripple Strike costs 35 stamina to activate. Suspensor Blast costs 0. Cripple Strike can only affect whoever is physically attacked with a sword, and can be blocked, parried, or dodged out of. Suspensor Blast affects everybody in an AoE bubble with no weapon, cannot be blocked, cannot be parried, and it can't be dodged out of. Cripple Strike cannot be used if you are stunned or staggered, and it can be interrupted. Suspensor Blast can be used while you're staggered, even while you're being slow-bladed, making it the only ability in the game that can do that. Cripple Strike is the balanced skill that makes melee minimally viable, whereas Suspensor Blast is an overpowered clone as a trooper skill that only uses Cripple Strike as a simple boost to achieve game-breaking stamina debuffs. Funcom were 100% correct to target this bad balance, but Suspensor Blast needed to be remade, because as we can see now, with mountains of feedback and proof that without Cripple Strike as it was, melee is useless entirely. Whether as a
So they basically made one of their main components of fighting in this game null and void. There's no reason. Now, again, I stopped playing the game because my house vanished, right? So I'm going to put this guy's video. If you guys are interested in this or want to hear what he has to say, in the description down below. So imagine making a game. You have gunfight and melee combat, but melee combat is completely null and void. So now it's just about the guns, right? So now you're in endgame, and the endgame was about melee, not really about guns. But now you're in the endgame, and now the melee doesn't do anything. It's ridiculous. But these are the people making the game, right? These are the people that are making the game. Ron Slusher says Nicki Minaj can save Dune. Maybe, Ron. Jack says, tell that to the Quantum Error devs who said that they made the game for PlayStation 5 and the Xbox port will come when it's ready. It's not coming. No updates about it, and it came out 2 years ago. Who's that in reference to, Jack? You're saying just because of what I talk about, the devs don't know what they're doing? That type of thing? Travis says, amazing. You got to love the studio goes, how do we make our game look fun, but making it look boring as hell? I mean, Sarge called it with Dune. Dune itself is a interesting story, but to make it not look boring is really hard, right? And now you've made the end game boring because you've taken one half of the battling system and turned it to nothing, right? So there's that. Then we have the conversation. Of Warner Brothers Discovery. Okay. Warner Brothers Discovery gets mostly a cash offer from Netflix, sources say. Now, the article is, it's very short. It's very, very little as I scroll through it. I'll read it. But again, it's just a speculation as of right now. It says December 1st, it says Warner Bros. Discovery has received a second round of bids, including mostly cash offer from Netflix. In the auction that also conclude in the coming days or weeks, the sources familiar with the matter told Reuters on Monday. Bankers for Paramount Skydance, Paramount is Comcast is the other one, and Netflix worked out over the weekend to improve over the parts of Warner Brothers, sources added. The bids are the bids are binding, giving the board scope to approve the deal quickly in terms of are met. Though they also have not been described as final, the person said. Netflix and Warner Bros. Discovery declined to comment. Bloomberg's News first reported the development. This is last week, Warner Bros. Asked bidders to submit improved offers by December 1st after receiving preliminary buyout bids from Paramount, Skydance, Comcast, and Netflix. So Reuters exclusively reported that Warner Bros. Discovery board rejected Paramount's mostly cash offer for nearly $24 a share for the company valuing at $60 billion. And publicly announced that they would evaluate strategic options for the studio. The parent of HBO and CNN in October said exploring the options for sale. Any potential deal involving Warner Bros. Discovery would further consolidate the media industry after $8.4 billion merge of Skydance Media and Paramount Global, which capped out drawn-out process marked political scrutiny and shareholders' concerns. So the studio behind the Harry Potter and DC Comics film franchise announced plans in June to split into a studio-centric and cable-focused units by next year to separate its growing streaming business from lagging cable network unit. Okay. In my opinion, with companies like this, right, Warner Brothers is what, $35 billion, $40 billion in debt? I'm pretty sure. Let me see. $33.38 billion as of September 30th. Okay. Now, obviously, Warner Brothers They turned down an offer for what, 60 billion? Valuing it at 60 billion, right? So they are hurting. Personally, just like people, I think companies should die. Okay? Right? When you're not working and you're in debt, the company should just go under. The assets and everything for it, like, so if you want to bid, you're not bidding for Warner Brothers, you're bidding now for DC Comics. You're now bidding for Harry Potter. You're now bidding for the assets that it has instead of buying the conglomerate company. So when the conglomerate company gets bought out, it goes into other places. Now, this one company owns all of these things, and then you have problems that we have now, where one company owns them all. It's like one ring to rule them all, okay? I personally think that they should just sell the IPs and brands instead of selling the entire company. Now, we're not in that world. We're in the world where everyone has to buy the entire company for $77 billion and $60 billion and all of these other consolidations or whatever they just paid for, okay? So, who's best, right? Skydance Media, okay, and the Paramount Global, Netflix, or Comcast. Now, Comcast and Skydance Media are taking outside money on top of their own money, which is foreign money, okay? So the United States companies are taking money from foreign companies to then purchase another American-made company. And Netflix, which I believe is all just American-made, American company, and they're doing cash money. Now, I don't like Netflix. I don't want Netflix to own WB. Right, I think it should go to Skydance, but at the same time, I don't think any of these three are good. But it's like the lesser of three evils, right? Who's going to get it? I don't want Comcast to have WB. Okay, I don't want Netflix to have WB because I think they would dilute what the franchises are. Okay, Skydance Media, to me, is the closest thing that they have because then they can take stuff and put it in theaters. I don't think Netflix is going to put things in theaters. I think they're just going to take the stuff and then basically just put everything on Netflix, which I think kind of dilutes the actual pool of content, right? It dilutes everything about it. It dilutes what DC is. Do they reboot it again? No matter what happens, they're going to reboot the DC universe that they just rebooted again. So who do you guys think, right? A part of me says Skydance Media, but the problem with that is it's outside sources, outside money coming in, and also the pros for that is that it would still go to theaters and still have a movie theater business, and then come to other platforms. Where if Netflix buys it, I don't think we see, like, if they buy it, do we see Snyderverses come back because he's got to deal with Netflix, and does he start making the stuff again inside of Netflix? To me, that's the wrong move for the brands. I mean, you see Harry Potter right now, they're doing a remake, but they're making a TV show for HBO. So, like, what happens in the future? I personally think Skydance Media should get it. Pros outweigh the cons for me. I still want to see the DC universe and Harry Potter and all that stuff in the theaters. I don't want to see it coming on a streaming service, even though they have a streaming service. But Netflix, to me, which is the biggest company out of the three, I believe, I just don't like the whole model, right? It's completely destroyed the industry from within. So my pick is Skydance Media, but I want to hear what you guys think, right? Do you think that Skydance Media is the best company to buy the WB brand? Do you think Netflix is the best company to buy the WB brand, or do you think Comcast is the best company to buy the WB brand? Let me know in the comment section down below. Please make sure you share, like, subscribe, and check out some of our other videos. Thanks for watching. All right. Travis says, I'll tell you what, 30. I know who gets it. Who's that? Whoever agrees to finally gives us the continuation of the Young Justice and following through, that's who. I personally think, was it Zaslav over on Skydance Media? I think that's the best fit for WB. But I don't like that they just bought Paramount and now they're taking WB. So again, we've gone from so many studios that were all separate, and now there's like three of them merged under one. I don't like consolidation like that. Ray says, my opinion is movie theaters suck. We've had this conversation before, Ray. I mean, look at what Netflix is doing. Netflix is putting Stranger Things season 5 finale or whatever in theaters. Theaters need to be a thing. Okay? You could still not like the theater and things can still go to the theater, but theaters need to be a thing. Okay? They make so much money in the theaters when they make good products. And then it comes later down the road where you could still, like, for instance, this is the same conversation we had for binge or not binge. Okay? You can binge after the fact, but I don't think shows should come out with a binge mentality of here's the entire season in one day. They should release it weekly or whatever, a couple months down the road after it came in theaters, and then you can binge watch stuff. Because that doesn't affect the binge model. The binge model is you've now can binge watch the entire show after they've all come out week by week for a TV series. For movies, I think they should hit the theaters. And then come 6 months later, 8 months later, 10 months later. I think they should make it longer because if people don't want to go to theaters, but they also don't want to wait, well, guess what? They're going to go to theaters. And if they go to theaters, the money goes up in the theaters. Then it comes out on streaming services later. Then you can binge watch or you can watch it later at a later date. And you don't have to go to theaters. You can just have to wait for it to come, just like it did in the old days, right? There's so many jobs being lost because it's not going to theaters. There's so many things being lost because the customer just wants to stay at home and watch, which is fine. You can still do that. They just have to make it longer between theater and home and also not binge watch on day one. Let's see. Theaters need to be a thing, but it just can't be movies. Well, they're not. A lot of them are showing concerts now. I mean, you heard what I said originally, Travis. I said I would take Netflix and show it on slow days. And you come in and all you have to do is buy popcorn or whatever. And I think that's what they're doing with Stranger Things. Stranger Things is free to see in theaters, but you have to purchase $20 worth of stuff at the concessions, which is like a popcorn and a drink. Do you know what I mean? So you go watch Stranger Things in the theaters, but you have to get something at the concession stand. I would do stuff like that Monday through Thursday in theaters to get people to come. You're like, well, why would I do that? Why would I pay for Netflix at home and then go watch it in theater? You wouldn't if you have Netflix, right? Maybe someone doesn't want to watch Netflix. Maybe they want to support a theater. I can watch football at my house, but a lot of people go to the bar to watch football. Why? Because they want that social aspect. Broick says, I watched Alien Earth week by week. It made it better for me. And girlfriend, since we also could talk about it and try to guess what was going on to happen. That's exactly why it should be week to week and not. Because if someone comes out and sees the whole thing, if they have more time, it's their day off and you have to work, they ruin it for you because of the internet. Where now, if it's week by week, the person that wants to binge watch they can watch it week by week. They have 7 days in the week to watch it. Or they wait 6 months to wait for the whole thing and then they binge watch it. Like talking about stuff, trying to figure it out. That's what's good about it. Oh, hey, if they make a theater like that, you're saying it'd be if you're saying I'd be there often. Also, did South of Terrible get nominated for anything? I can't remember. Yeah, it did. It got nominated for, I think, 2 things. I think sound design was one of them, if I'm not mistaken. Fallout going week by week is the smartest move ever. Yeah. I can't wait to people watching it week by week and it actually lasts longer because if it's a good show and people are talking about it every week, going back to my video that I said last year that they made a bad choice by going all one shot. Everyone's like, you're stupid. You don't know what you're talking about. They're never going to do that. It's a binge model. They didn't know it was going to be a hit. They were very scared. They didn't know what was going to happen because of what happened to Halo and stuff like that. They were very hesitant. And that's why they released it all at once. They didn't do a lot of promotion for it. They were just like, here it is. Then it became good. You know why? Because the show was good. And because it was good, people watched it. People watched it because it was entertaining. Imagine that. Imagine making a good product that wasn't telling you try to shove something down your face, okay, because of political view here, political view there. It was just about the actual show and being a good show. And that's why it was successful. Okay, now they're like, well, wait a minute. We want people to pay monthly. So let's put it in the middle of the month. So we get 2.5 months, which is 3 months in business terms, because you have to pay for 3 months of the actual thing. Okay, that way you can watch the whole thing. And if you don't want to watch it week by week, guess what? You can wait 6 weeks, 8 weeks, okay, 10 weeks, and then binge watch it all at the end. And you're still satisfied because you've binge watched the thing that you wanted to binge watch. Where the people wanted to watch weekly, they can watch it weekly without being ruined. Roic says, South of Midnight was a good game with crappy combat like it was Afterthought. 100%. That was my biggest complaint about it. We all know John Walker said skip the bosses. Asher says, make a series, sell a series. Yeah, imagine just writing a good series. Too many shows trying to shove political politics now, which degrades the show. No, there's been plenty of shows that did political stuff, Aku. But they were shitty shows. And they were shoving it in, right? No one has problems with politics. It's when the politics are being shoved in your face to mirror what's happening in real life. We go to shows and movies to get away from things that are happening in real life. But when you're writing about the stuff that's happening right now, like if you're watching a movie or a show about World War II or about the 1960s, that's talking about political stuff about that time, cool. But if you're making something that's current day, talking about the stuff that's right now, guess what? We just want to watch a show. We don't want to be shoved something that we're living. Because I can just shut the TV off, go outside, read the paper, watch the news, and there's the movie right there. Heck, House of Cards is all about politics. It was great until Spacey's drama. Right, and that was way after the show, wasn't it? Was it way after the show? No, it was during the last season of the show. That's what I'm saying. I can take political things. That makes sense, the series. But World War II, the Hitler was gay type BS annoys me. Yeah, I totally get what you're saying there. Yeah. Robert Jones says, no one cares when the show is good. Correct. If it's a good show, then nobody cares. If it's a good game, nobody cares. Right? If a broken boogie game comes out and people are having fun, guess what? They're not going to fix it. People are having fun. It is what it is. We can still say it's a broken buggy game. Right? You can still say it's a shitty show, shitty movie. But when you do that now, people are like, oh, you're a hater. No, I'm just giving you my thoughts on it. I'm allowed to say something sucks. I'm allowed to say something's good. I'm allowed to say something's a piece of shit. All right, let's go because we have other stories that we didn't put in for the main stuff. We got about a half hour left here. We have here's the thing, right? Speaking of Arc Raiders, okay, Arc Raiders, this is going to come back and bite them in the ass, okay? Arc Raiders right now is on borrowed time as far as what the expedition thing is. Okay. Embark has confirmed that the expedition bonuses in Arc Raiders are permanent, but that does little to clear up the confusion. Are they permanent? Permanent? Or are they permanent for the next season? Right? We do this Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning until noon Eastern. If you like it, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. We do 20 shows a month for the daily grind, Monday through Thursday on average. We do a podcast to end off the week. called Generation X Gaming, the weekly podcast that goes over a few of the top stories from the past week. We rant along the way. Me and Sarge do that every single day. We're on the 11th season. We're going on to the 12th season at the end of this year. A week from tomorrow, we're going to be doing the Video Game Award Show. And joining us on the Video Game Award Show, GXG, will be Greg Owen, who we interviewed a couple times on the show. Who has a nice channel. If you guys go watch his stuff, we watch the Kinger, who's been on the show a couple times. He'll be on the show as well. And then also the Real Fake Wizard, or the Fake Wizard, Real Fake Wizard. I say the, but it's not the. It's just the Real Fake Wizard. Real life Fake Wizard. Will be on the show as well, who we interviewed as well. So all of us will be on the show doing a sort of like a Mystery Science Theater 3000, talking about the show as it's going live. They'll be coming in and out because they have lives, so they can't stay for the entire show. Some of them might stay, some of them might not stay. But we're all going to be on the show a week from tomorrow. So make sure you guys come out and hang out with us for that. All right, so Embark has confirmed that expedition bonuses in Arc Raiders are permanent, but that does a little to clear up the confusion. Okay, so the decision for Embark to be expeditions effectively wipe your account in one of the most important divisive choices of Arc Raiders. Since launch, we've also dedicated hundreds of thousands of coins worth of resources, building and supplies, your caravan, with only a vague idea of what awaits you on the other side. Okay, or you're like me and you can't find fucking light bulbs, and I haven't moved past page 2. It says, hell, all we really know is that you get XP boost, enhanced scrappy, an unknown amount of additional stash space, and bonus skill points based on the value of the item in your stash on the departure date of December 21st. Don't ask me for specifics because, well, we don't have them. Only Embark does, and it's not telling. Now, the longer they wait for this, I'm on the thing here where if there's a lot of people, sort of like what they did with the skill tree, right? Like people are going up the skill tree, and during this first season, they nerfed the skill tree. If you're going up the red one to get to the stash, okay, they've nerfed it. So now people are like, why am I going up there if it's not good? Okay. They're staying quiet about what this expedition thing is. They don't want to tell you what it is. And not doing this, I think, is going to hurt them in the long run, especially if they're just mediocre type of stuff. If they're really good, okay, if they're really good, then no harm, no foul. But they're not saying it because they're using it as the carrot. They're like, oh yeah, these are the benefits that you get, but we're not going to tell you exactly what they are. They could be really good, or they could suck. Okay? It says the only solace that we have to give you is that the update community manager, Lily, on Arc Raiders Discord server last week, it was confirmed that the skill point and stash space bonuses are permanent. Additionally, they're based on your stash value and how much money you've got in your wallet at the time of departure. Okay, so let me read that again. The skill point and the stash space bonuses are permanent. Permanent meaning for the next 8 weeks afterwards, or permanent going forward, like permanent. So like right now I have 280 spots of stash. If I reset my character, do I get 300 stash? And then the next season I get 324 stash? That's the only way it goes up from there? That could be a big thing. Okay. And then it also says, based on the value, okay, and bonus skill points based on the value of items in your stash on departure date. Okay. Don't really understand what that means. It says the only solace they give you is that the update from my community manager, Little Arc Raiders Discord, last a week has confirmed that the skill point and the stash points bonus permanent. Additionally, there's also the stash value of your, we don't know what that is, right? It says that's great news for anyone committing to the expedition project, and honestly, might be tempts me to take the plunge. Each normal stash upgrade currently grants 24 slots, so my best guess is that the expedition will grant an additional 24 spaces for your stuff. However, there are still so many unanswered questions regarding the expedition, and Embark also confirmed in the Discord that it won't find out any more specifics until the departure window opens on December 15th. And even then, we have no clue on how forthcoming Embark will actually be, as everything from expedition system to the skill tree is oddly vague in-game despite calls for more transparent figures. Okay. Again, this could backfire in their faces, because now we're waiting for December 15th. And when December 15th comes out, if all of a sudden it's not good, people are like, why did I waste my time on this thing? And if it is good, but people can't get the thing, now they only have 1 week to rush to get to the last thing, right? In my opinion, they should have told us what this was in week 1. Because what we still don't know, certainly, while the bonus skill while the bonus skill points and stash space earned from expeditions are permanent, do they stack each time you complete one? If they do, what's the limit, right? So are they only permanent for the next 8 weeks, or do they stack? No one has an answer. You can guess, but we don't know the actual, is there a limit or not? Okay. What are the total inventory or wallet value milestones we need to reach to even earn maximum awards from the expedition? We don't know that either. Okay. Then we are the account buffs, the stack and power, subsequent expeditions referring to XP and Scrappy boosts? We have no idea. Okay. Will Scrappy reset at the will reset at the level higher than 5 in the current cap? We don't know. Okay. What cosmetics will players receive for completing the expedition? Again, we don't know. Will the next expedition be different in terms of resources needed in the bonus granted? They actually answered this question. So this question they actually do. They said each expedition would be different. It wouldn't be the exact same resources. It would be different resources, but obviously it would rotate. So don't think like season 1 is going to be the same as season 3. It's just going to be random stuff each season. Okay. But they don't know. Okay. That's pretty important information that we need to know near the end of the first expedition. Even if it's explained on December 15th, you have just 1 week to reach those milestones if you haven't been stocking up or hoping the best already. Well, the problem with this is, even if you are stocking up, you only have a certain amount of space, and you can't get rid of them until you get to the next page, and you're being stopped. Okay, you're being stopped because, for instance, when I do find light bulbs, I get murdered. Okay. And I lose them unless I have a stash and so on and so forth, where sometimes I have a prison pocket, but I can't find the goddamn light bulbs. So I can't put the light bulbs in my prison pocket. All right. So sometimes I have them, but then I get killed. And other times I have the prison pocket, but I can't find the light bulbs. Right. So there's a lot of stuff going on here where people can't progress because of whatever reason, bad luck, RNG, whatever it is. So I haven't progressed past page 2. And I have like 60 hours in this game. Okay. And I can't find the light bulbs that I have. So it'll be very interesting to see what happens in just a week and a half, because now you're going to be on December 15th. They're going to announce what's happening here, which I think they should have been forthcoming first. But I think the reason they're not forthcoming is because they didn't know. Right. Obviously, this is my thought process. I don't think they know what it is. They're trying to figure it out, and they're trying to give themselves as much time as possible to nail it down, to be good, but not too good, and be bad, but not too bad for the actual time it comes out. Because once it comes out, it can either kill it or it could be really, really exciting. But either way, if it's really exciting, the people that have been playing for the last 7 weeks have 1 more week left and they're nowhere close to it, are going to be pretty upset. And then I have another question. Because now the expedition's done, it passes. Let's say I don't have all the stuff. I'm on page 6 in week 2. Well, I can't complete this expedition until week 8 of the next season, which means now I'm behind the complete season, right? I can't turn them in until the next expedition goes off. Well, now at the end of the season, how do I know I can go to Expedition 2 if I'm still on Expedition 1? Can I take the resources that I have for Expedition 2 on top of Expedition 1 and work on both of them simultaneously? Or am I only working on one? Now I'm stuck in the 8 weeks. Then gets the second week, or Expedition 2, but Expedition 1 I didn't complete, so now I have to complete Expedition 1 in Expedition 2. There's a lot of questions, and they're not answering any of these. So this could be really good, or it could be really bad. But these are just my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comment section down below. What do you think? Do you think that Arc Raiders is going to screw it up for the expedition? Do you think a lot of people are going to reset their characters for Expedition Season 2? Or do you think a lot of people are just going to hold on to their characters regardless of what the expedition is? What the rewards are. Let me know in the comment section down below. Please make sure you share, like, subscribe, and if you like what I do here, check out some of our other videos. Thanks for watching. All right, let me see here. Cisco says, are the politics in a show being descriptive or are they being prescriptive? That's a difference of maker. Comparing Assault to Midnight of GOW in 2018. I don't know why you're comparing both of those games. I know you're responding to Travis. Altered says, stop asking so many questions. Just consume. Cisco also says, yeah, that definitely wasn't enough information for me to sign up for the expedition. Yeah, it's just weird. And now I'm stuck in the expedition, right? So I'm stuck in the expedition. I'm on page 2. I can't find the light bulbs to move on to page 3. And maybe I have all the stuff for page 3, but I still can't find the RNG for the light bulbs on page 2. And there's not enough information. We had a conversation yesterday on the show, right? Tim Sweeney didn't want to have Steam say AI stuff because it's just pointless. And I said that more information is better for customers. Right now, as Arc Raiders, you need to tell us what the expedition is. Obviously, I don't think they're telling us because I don't think they know. They're trying to come up with it still. But they need to have information on what it is. You're selling us on this bill of goods of this expedition, but we don't know what the expedition is. We don't have enough information to make the choice if we want to do it or not. And by the time they tell us on December 15th if it's good or bad, most people haven't gone in to have the rewards for 1 week, right? And if they're doing this to get the player base all hyped up and people to come play the last week, that's going to be a novelty, okay, for the first time. Because if they do this again for the week or Expedition 2 in Season 2, then people will be like, I'll just wait for the last week, right? And they're not going to waste their time, you know? What's happening with prison pockets and light bulbs? The safety pocket that you have in Arc Raiders. Sometimes I have a safety pocket, right? But I can't find the light bulbs. And then other times I don't have a safety pocket and I find the light bulb, but I get murdered. So I lose my light bulbs. So I have one light bulb to show for it. And I've been trying over the last, 3 weeks, 2.5, 3 weeks. Aku says 30. You bent over one too many times. Your prison pocket has now expanded an extra 24 slots. Yeah. So I just feel like a company is trying to build hype off of this expedition, but at the same time, they're hurting themselves because, again, if the expedition, if it's permanent, but if it's permanent throughout the entire year, or is it permanent just for the next 8 weeks and then you have to reset for something else? I don't know. I wish we all knew. All right, let's see what else we got here. Let's see what else we got. We got a story about... let's see here. We got a story about Steam, it looks like, but I don't want to read that one. Maybe we'll read that tomorrow. Fallout 76, this is, I don't know if this story is about it, but the patch notes that came out for Fallout 76... I was going to play Fallout 76 last night on stream on 30 and Still Gaming. But the problem yesterday was when I went to go load the game up, it wouldn't load because it was broke. So Bethesda opened it up yesterday, but it wasn't working. So it says new Fallout 76 update is out now with fresh settings, events, and Rag Hog Pet. Okay. So it says on December 2nd, Fallout 76 released a highly anticipated Burning Springs update for supporter platforms, bringing players a post-apocalyptic version of Southern East Ohio, along with a brand new map of 76 players to explore. Burning Springs patch includes new activities like bounty hunting, new Rag Hog Pet for players to collect, and also start of Season 23 Raider-themed season titled Blood X Rusted. Yeah, we don't need a pitch of this. I thought this was going to talk about the problem that had been yesterday, right? So like I went to go play the game, couldn't get on, right? Another failure, in my opinion, for a game that they could build up good. Now it's probably working now, but again, why have a release date when you try to log in and then it doesn't work? You know what I mean? So it's very frustrating when you want to play a game and you can't play the game because they broke it again, right? And this happens all the time. Let's see. It says Fallout 76 has plans for 2026. According to Bethesda, the story for Burning Springs will play out over multiple content patches, giving Fallout 76 players more to look forward to in 2026. With the new content systems in development, it remains to be seen how Fallout 76 will evolve in the year ahead. I think this is smart as well. We've talked about this in the past about they've taken the character, the ghoul, from the show and brought him into the actual game. And this takes place, I think, like 200 years before the show. So you can tell how old he is as part of the show. Maybe you'll find out little bits and pieces about his character, even though you'll find more bits and pieces about his character in the actual show. I think this is very smart when you do cross promotion type of stuff like this, where it's linked, but it's not anchored onto the show. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, here's the character from the show. Here's some more backstory and stuff like that. I think that's pretty cool, right? So, I'm always a fan of stuff like that when they do cross promotion like that. It makes sense. Right, Altorn says 16 times the detail does it again. Yeah, they can't catch a break. You know what I mean? Like if you're gonna do something, make sure it works. Let me see what you guys are seeing here. Combat is good, but I don't think it's your style. It takes a lot of strategies also play if you also hack and slash like you normally play. Did you ever read the Tim Kaine story I sent you? I did not. This guy says, turns out that 76 had the light bulbs with that crossover. If I could get the light bulbs from Fallout 76 and bring them over, I'm gonna need NFTs, Cisco. I'm gonna need the NFTs that were here a couple years ago. If I get the light bulbs in Fallout 76, I can bring them over to Arc Raiders. That would be fantastic. For a cool price of $25.99 to bring the light bulbs over in NFT form. Travis says, honestly, 76, I hated it at first, but once I learned the cards to reduce the need of food, water, it was really good. I think a lot of people, and totally understandable, Fallout 76 is actually a pretty good game. It just, when it came out, it wasn't a game. It was broke. It was buggy. It was unfinished. Okay. And then they fixed it over the next, what are we at? 7 years now? 6 years? Is it 6 years? When did Fallout 76 come out? 2018? Or is it 2019? November 14, 2018. That's crazy. I think about how much shit this game got. Think about how much shit this game got. Concord failed in 12 days. Fallout 76, which was held on by duct tape and a thimble of spool of thread, okay, has lasted this long. Right? They just passed in November, right? So 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 7 years. 7 years for Fallout 76. You're like, oh, this game's dead on arrival. 7 years. Concord, 12 days. New World, 4 years. Right? New World wasn't broken buggy when it came out. That game's done. Right? How many games have come out since 2018 that are no longer around? And yet Fallout 76 is still here. It's amazing. Absolutely amazing. Alton says, make sure it works from Bethesda. They can't even get their anniversary edition to correct. Roic says, I like Fallout 76, but friend don't like it. Yeah, same. Star doesn't like it. Star doesn't want to play it. But, and I totally understand where Sarge is coming from. But I think if Sarge played it, he would actually like it now. But because it came out the way it came out, and because Bethesda is Bethesda, he's like, no, which is fine. I get it. PS5 Blow says, Fallout 76, it just works. It just works. Robert Jones says, rip Concord. Well, 30, DC Universe Online, still going. Yeah, Swords of Lord of the Rings. We talked about that yesterday, right? 12 years for that one. 12 years for DC Universe Online. Right? 12 years for Lord of the Rings. 11 years for Lord of the Rings. Right? Let me see. When did DC Universe Online? 2011. Yeah. 14 years. 14 years for DC Universe Online. Hmm. 2007 for Lord of the Rings Online. 2007. and that Lord of the Rings still going. We're talking 18 years for that game. Everyone's like, the game's dead. No one's playing it. Nobody's playing it. Look, we're gonna look it up. Here we go. Are you ready? Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings Steam charts, right? And then we'll do Lord of the Rings Steam charts, and then we'll also do DC Universe. Okay. Maybe Dune Awakening's fine, right? Maybe Dune Awakening is fine. Because here is DC Universe Online. Okay. Max. Okay. 14 years. Right? Well, actually, this is Max, but it's only been on Steam for a couple years. Why does it only show to 2021? Is that when it came out? So it came out 4 years ago on Steam. It's been out longer, I guess. Right? And they're fine, right? 660, 430 now. Peak 24 hours, 660. Lord of the Rings. Okay, Lord of the Rings. From July of 2012, which came out in 2007. They only have it from 2012. Okay, has another 3,700. Still fine. Still fine. We look at Dune Awakening and we're like, it's over. It's over. Right? Here, you look at this one as well. Starfield. Look at Starfield. Right? Starfield single player game. 2.5 years. And it's down. Are they here? Are they coming this afternoon? I don't know. All right. All right, sorry about that. Yeah, so you look at Starfield drop off a cliff, and it's been the same. It's been here. That's a consistent player base, though. That's crazy. Crazy to see all these things, and they're still around. Obviously, Starfield's only around 2.5 years. Oh, I remember Star Trek Online. What's that at? We played a shit ton of it on yeah, look at that. Still around. 7,910 on Steam. Obviously, there's more. I played on console. I never played it on Steam. Ron says Anthem only has 1 month left. I'm surprised it lasted this long. Ron, I'll be honest with you. Sarge says they released another DLC. Who? Sarge, you're talking about Star Trek? No, they already announced the DLC. They announced the DLC, Travis. It's probably going to come out in February. They'll probably show it at the Game Awards show. They'll have an announcement of when it comes out. It'll probably come out in February or March when it comes out for PlayStation. But they've already announced the DLC. I'm speculating on when it comes out and if it's coming to PlayStation. But that's the rumor. Yeah, the rumor is that it'll probably come out. The reason they postponed it, because the DLC was supposed to come out this year, like September, October-ish, like the last one did. But Now, I think plans change where they're coming out with Starfield on PlayStation. If it comes out on PlayStation, they might want to just drop the new content plus the game all at one time. But again, speculation. Yeah, I think we'll see that at the Game Awards as well. All right, let me go to Twitter, see if anything's happening on Twitter. Let's see what's happening on Twitter. Helldiver says, tune in tomorrow for our live stream. How is that? I forgot to talk about that. Helldivers shrunk the thing from 156 gigs to 23 gigs. Like how in the hell? How the hell did they do that? Fortnite Ninjago crossover is on the way. Leakers confirm. So Ninjago is coming to Fortnite. Well, that's another thing, right? Aku, you're talking about the Star Trek one, but I think DC Universe Online is the exact same now. They've caught up to console, so they're the exact same now. Probably go back and play that. We go back like once or twice a year to play DC Universe Online. Yeah, 158 gigs to 23 gigs. Like, what? Well, I know, Ray. It's just weird to know that what the hell were they doing on PC? My hard drive salutes you. Yeah, they've cleared up literally 130 gigs on your hard drive. I literally took it off my computer because it was taking up too much space. And I wasn't playing on PC anymore. Let's see what's going on here. MLB The Show announced for mobile. Yeah, 20 years of the show, now on mobile. Huh. That's kind of weird. Nah, Sony doesn't want to do stuff like that. Nah, mobile's not the future. Oh. Good old Sony. Yeah, no, it's probably the MLB that wanted to do this. I'm sure it wasn't Sony. I'm sure it was all MLB. I'm sure that, day and date's not coming. I'm sure that more Sony games are not coming to mobile. I'm sure that Sony bought Nexus or not Nexus. Is it Nexus? No, not Nexus. What's their Nexon to pour all their stuff over? I'm sure it was just for shits and giggles. Argus says they must be offloading a lot of game files and load onto the cloud servers. Sure. Yeah, it's Nexus, something like that. Altor says, yeah, MLB The Show forced Sony to release mobile version. There's no way Sony will allow this. Exclusive rewards if you play it on the phone. Yeah, I'm sure it wasn't Sony that did that. I'm sure the $1.4 billion they made on PC between, all their other games, I'm sure they're like, you know what money are we leaving on the table for mobile? I'm sure. They're like, nah, we don't want to put it over there. Microsoft should start making their mobile games right now. Look at Sony's Horizon game. I like to know their secret. I too need to lose some size. Yeah, me too. Me too. Did Bungie in a year of the Lord 2025 tell a story about a rich kid LARPing at social changes, getting radicalized, becoming a terrorist because of clearly has daddy issues? So he has to rip down the Vanguard and give power back to the people? I don't know what they're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about there. Let's see. What else is going on here? NetEase pledges to replace a No Man's Sky model in its survival MMO. Sean Murray says they played themselves because the assets busted anyway. Oh, is this yeah, this is the Once Human. Yeah, so Once Human basically stole the assets from No Man's Sky. Right? Once Human stole. Now, I know people look at this and go, it's a circle. It's a circle. But they literally took it. And again, I always tell you, they have to make 7 changes. 7 changes, and it's fine. Okay? So if you look at, let's look at this, right? So let's look at, see if they made 7 changes. If they didn't make 7, okay? So you have the, okay, so that's the front. Okay, so what they did, they took the nut, you see the center point in here? They got rid of the center points there. That's one change. 2 changes is, see this little arc here on the on this side? They made it bend, okay? So that's 2. Okay? 3, you see how the front here is got like a double edge here with this little piece here in the middle? That's no longer there. So that's 3. Okay? 4, they put like some sort of like bicycle in the center of the thing here. So that's 4. It looks like on the back end here. Yeah, see how they have the lines, these lines up on the rim here? They got rid of those lines. They put these pieces here. So that's 5. That's on the back side. Okay. And 6, it looks like they is it 2 tiers? Yeah, it's still 2 tiers, but they made it wider. See how these are even? And then this is a smaller, and then this is a bigger one. That's 6, and I think that's it. I don't think there's a 7th one. So let's see what happens here. Okay. So it says, next time a commenter posts out a typo is one of the articles. I just say it's to make a potential plagiarizing look stupid. After No Man's Sky players on Reddit question a provenance of a assist of a survival MMO, Once Human suggests it bore a marked resemblance similar to objects in No Man's Sky. Hello Games boss Sean Murray seemed remarkably at ease about the possibility it had also been targeted on an asset heist or assist heist. Okay. Says jokes on them, he wrote, because the original No Man's Sky assets is all jacked up anyway. The asset in question is No Man's Sky's base teleport module, a big lens-looking thing that players can use to quickly jaunt between areas, essentially a big circle studded with rivets and bars and looking very similar to Once Human's big circle studded. I don't like the way they do this. I don't like that the article being written right now is making it a very simplistic thing, right? They're like, it's just a big circle with studded and rivets and bars. It looks very similar. It looks the fucking same. They stole it. Once Human is white, it seems to contain someone's discarded bike, but that's aside, the resemblance, it's striking. It wasn't long before No Man's Sky players accused Once Human dodging behavior, noting that it has also in the past been digged for useful assets, looked for copy and pasted from Rainbow Six Siege for a Battle Pass reward, which is also equivalent quietly removed. Says, hasn't it pulled the same trick twice? It certainly seems that way. It reached out to NetEase for a statement as it was told we could take it very seriously and we want everyone to feel confident in creative work that goes into the game. We are committed to ensuring that the work remains original and respectful for the broader creative community, honoring original creativity fundamental who we are and how we operate. It says, with this in mind, we will replace the asset in question. Why would they replace the asset? Maybe because they stole it, right? Do you see when you call something out? You call something out and then something happens. But if you don't call it out, they go, I don't know what you're talking about. And people defend. There's got to be people that defend this, right? There's got to be people that are defending this. They're like, no, it doesn't look the same. Okay. For his part, Sean Murray doesn't sound too bothered. As he mentioned before, No Man's Sky's module in question is a little less than perfect, especially Murray. His notes forgot the LOD, those rivets, instead of the teleporter's rim. Okay. Says Murray accompanied his post with detailed pictures of the rivets in question, revealing that the set studs composed of a frankly terrifying computer sweating number of polygons. So no, really, there was most base teleporter modules composed of simple, large surface rivets, looking to be made of hundreds, perhaps thousands of polygons. Okay. They took it down because they stole the artwork. There's no difference. I'm glad this actually popped up. There's no difference in what we just talked about earlier, what Marathon did. They only apologize and they only do stuff when they get caught. Okay? They only do this when they get caught. Remember when Bethesda's $7 billion was huge and now people think billions are peanuts? People forgot $1 billion is a lot of money. Yeah, no, it's a shit ton of money. I just realized that I've been I just realized I've been playing so much Arc Raiders that I forgot about Light No Fire. There you go. Argus says, Mike, people think that Sony won't follow suit with all of the other gaming platforms are changing to make money. But when their shareholders see other companies doing it, make money, they will ask Sony. Of course they will. Of course they will. MLB The Show on mobile. Sony's dead. Why aren't they doing that when they could have also been making more money, and Sony will have to have a good answer why they don't. I mean, this is inevitable, and they will also make it all the same changes. Mike, that's the number 7, the color. Oh, the color is number 7. Thank you, Mo. Thank you. I couldn't think of the 7th one. They didn't copy them. They got inspired by No Man's Sky. That's right. It's inspired. They were inspired to take it down as well. They were inspired to remove it. I don't know if the color counts, though, Mo, because I don't know the game. Can you... Because you could color the stuff inside of No Man's Sky. You could change the color of everything in No Man's Sky. So I don't think the color counts as a change. Yeah. They're only sorry because they got caught. That's exactly right. Aku says billion is basically where people's brains just see infinity. Like 90% of the people can't comprehend a number past the million to billion mark. Yeah, 100%. But I'll even say it's less than that. We give tours, right, in our farm, and we show them how many chickens we have. Okay. And they can't fundamentally see, because we have about 10,000 birds. Okay. 10,000. Right? So that's 10,000 eggs a day, roughly. Right? We run about 88% efficiency. Okay. So 10,000 birds, if at 100% is 10,000 eggs. Okay. So 10,000 eggs, people see that and they go, oh my God, you must feed the entire area. And it's like, no, that's nothing. Right? There's corporations out there that have tens of millions of birds. Right? We have 10,000 birds. People can't fathom past a certain point, Aku. You're right about that. But I think you're giving them way too much credit. People can't count past the thousands and fathom what thousands is compared to millions. Tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, they are confused by. Every day. They're like, oh my God, you got so many birds. Must feed the entire Florida. Yeah, no, that's only, we only have 10,000 birds. They have no idea. No idea what a million is compared to 100,000 compared to a million, to a billion. They are completely lost. Yeah, we get about 8,800 eggs. We're at 88% because some eggs break. Some chickens don't lay that day. Many big guy in Florida eats 6 eggs for breakfast. Right. I had 3 eggs this morning. I had 3 eggs by myself this morning. Let alone 10,000. They're like, oh my God, I must feed the entire country. Like, what? Billions of dollars are enough to easily feed our country and other countries combined. Oh, yeah, billion. Billions is different than 10,000. Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. Do I have it? Let's see. No, I don't think this works. Does it work? Nope, doesn't work. I thought I had my rabbit hole video. We don't. Not working. Yeah, I do about 2 eggs. 2 to 3 eggs when I eat breakfast. So each week I eat by myself 2, 4, 6, 8. I eat about a dozen eggs myself a week. 11, about 11. We'll just say it. We'll just make just 12. Because some days I eat 2, some days I eat 3, but I drop the protein. You know what I mean? Like I drop the meat. Like I won't have a patty or something like that. I'll just have the eggs and the carbs. And if you eat a pancake, that's a half an egg. That's right. Yeah, I eat a dozen eggs myself. Then my wife. Then my kid. So we're going through 3 dozen eggs. Is 1 egg layer fine for a family of 6? What do you mean 1 egg layer? You're saying if you have 1 chicken? Is that what you're asking, Mo? Are you asking if you have 1 chicken, is it good for a family of 6? No, you would need 6 chickens. Because you might get 5 eggs a day. Because 1 egg might not show up. You can get 2. Get 2 chickens. If you get 2 chickens, you get 2 eggs a day. You might get 1 every 3rd day or something like that. Right? You might get 2 eggs. Right? You might have 2 eggs a day, and then one day you might get 1 egg from one of them. Right? So you're at full capacity. If you have 2 chickens, you're getting 2 eggs a day. So in 3 days, you'll have 6 eggs. Yeah, you can have like a little like coop in your backyard. But yeah, so I'll have to look into your if you live in a neighborhood, homeowners association, stuff like that. They don't like them because they make noise and whatnot. We don't have an association. We live on a farm, so. Am I a math and numbers person? I think it's quadrillion to quintillion. Say 10,000. I can break down into usable data. That's how to do it. You just need a half a dozen a week. Well, then you get half a dozen a week. Half a dozen a week. You want 2 eggs. You want 2 chickens. 2 chickens will get you 6 eggs in a half a week. So you can have a dozen eggs by the end of the week. If you want 1 chicken, you're getting 7 eggs if she lays an egg every day. And then if it doesn't, let's say they're at 80%, 88%, 90% efficiency, you'll get 6 eggs a week. Pixel says chickens lay eggs, women's have periods, work it out, chickens. Cycles don't follow the moon. Yeah, you could get 1 if you only need half a dozen. Ray says a dozen eggs last me a month. It's already 148 eggs a year. Yeah, I have a lot of eggs. You get one a day. And if you don't wash them, they last longer. I'll let you know, Mo. So when we sell our eggs, we have a washing process, but then we have a U-pick. So if people pick them and we don't wash them, there's a coating on the actual egg. Okay? And if you wash the eggs, it breaks it takes that coating off. That coating actually lasts. So you actually don't have to refrigerate your eggs. Right? So if you're going to refrigerate your eggs and stuff like that, then you have to clean them and then put them in the thing. But if you just pick them up and just set it on your counter, like they can literally stay like that for like 40 days, 45 days. Not washing them. Washed eggs last about 20. Pixel says we don't wash our eggs in the UK. Yeah, if you sell them in stores, you have to. But if we have people come to the farm and pick their own eggs, they like going into the chicken coops. They pick their own eggs. If they're picking them and we're not taking them from them, because if we pick them, we have to wash them. If they come themselves and then just pick the eggs, they just pick the eggs and they're not washed. No, I didn't see the statement that CD Projekt Red made. Oh wow, it's 12:30. Yeah, if you don't wash them, you don't have to refrigerate them. You can just put them on your counter. And when you have a fresh egg, I don't know if you've never had a fresh egg, Mo. The best way to describe a fresh egg, the egg, when you crack it, it'll almost look like gold. Like the yolk is like super gold. Okay, compared to if you go buy a store, like do this. If you get a chicken and you have an egg, the very first couple of eggs that it lays, if it's a baby chick, it'll be a pullet egg. It'll be small, and as they get bigger, about 18 weeks or so, it'll get to a full grown, what a regular egg is. If you get a store bought egg and your egg that your chicken lays and crack them both open, look at the yolk, you'll see that your yolk of your chicken will be gold compared to other eggs from the store. So much better. And you'll eat more eggs because the eggs taste different. They taste so much better than what you buy in the store. So, all right. On that education note, I doubt if I put an egg in the water, if it floats, the witch. I had some eggs, and it tastes just like chicken. I don't know if that's true. We'll do this Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning until noon Eastern. If you like it, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. There's no afternoon stream. I got to do some work this afternoon on the shed that we've been building. Other than that, we'll be back tonight for 30 and Still Gaming. Me and Sarge will be shooting the shit with Sarge tonight over on 30 and Still Gaming. So make sure you come over there, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button over on that channel. If it's just video games, bullshit while we play. This is the main channel where we have a show. We also do a podcast on Thursday nights called Generation X Gaming. That's 8 p.m. Eastern. Make sure you come check out that as well. You can also listen to the past broadcasts for the podcast over on Spotify. All the episodes are up there. If you'd like to support the channel, beyond monetary with the subscription with the membership, you can also buy merch down below, and you can also listen to our music. Appreciate it very much. You guys have a great rest of your day, evening, or night, wherever you are in the world, and I appreciate you, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.
Yeah, money talks, we listen. Empire moves, but what about the mission? 50 billion, yeah, they bought the vision. Yeah, investors in the boardroom, suits pressed tight. Counting green, flipping scripts overnight. Guns and football, yeah, that's the call. But what about the stories that we love most of all? Bioware legends now, whispers in the hall. Studios bending to the profit, feeling small. Kushner at the table, PF in the mix. Even the Saudis are now in the mix. Players in the chat like, yo, what's the fix? Empire moves, money calls the shots, but the heart of the game is tied up in knots. Investors rule, but we still play. Holding hope while the cash takes a day. Empire moves, who's really in control? They count the billions, but who owns the soul? Who owns the soul? Who owns the soul? Who owns the soul? Every AAA title, every indie grind. Now waiting spreadsheets, creativity confined. Promises whispered, nothing will change. But corporate hands don't play the game. The fans remember nights we stayed up late, exploring worlds they might try to desecrate. Passion can't die, it's coded in the heart. But will it survive when profit tears it apart? Empire moves, money calls the shots, but the heart of the game is tied up in knots. Investors rule, but we still play. Holding hope while the cash takes a day. Empire moves, who's really in control? They count the billions, but who owns the soul? Who owns the soul? Who owns the soul? Who owns the soul? $50 billion, but what do we lose? Stories and worlds replaced by corporate cues. Gamers still grind, we don't bow, we resist. Creators to dream, still pushing the twist. Legacy over ledger, that's how we survive. The heart of the game keeps the stories alive. Empire moves, but we're still in the fight. Playing for the passion, not just the night. Empire moves, money calls the shots, but the heart of the game is tied up in knots. Investors rule, but we still play. Holding hope while the cash takes a day. Empire moves, but the soul still whole. Gamers and creators, they own the soul. Ooh, they own the soul. Gamers and creators, they own the soul. Empire moves, money calls the shots, but the heart of the game is tied. Empire moves, money calls the shots, but the heart of the game is tied up in knots. Empire moves.